welcome back, everybody, to the Epics of Earendel, to session number 33. Last time, our party had left the shores of one of the larger lakes in this northern part of the continent, heading westward from their campsite onwards to the division of the roads heading one southwards towards the city of Kleinmauer, while the northern half of this divide heading towards the larger city of Grossmauer. A large, sprawling metropolis city, one of the largest cities in this part of the continent of Earendel. After several days hike and boat trip and several strange incidents along the way, the party had finally reached the city of Grossmauer. A city known for its military prowess, its large, sprawling defensive walls going nearly entirely around the entire scope of the city itself, acting as sort of a divide between the north and south of the continent and into the mountain ranges of the Vanarut. Several gates allow access into the city themselves. The party opted for one of the smaller gates, having spied a couple strange but somewhat familiar wanted and people of interest posters, one of which, although crude, perhaps showed a bit of resemblance to the trio themselves. In addition, you all saw a very high bounty wanted poster for none other than Catherine Aelin Lead of the Magisterium Arcanum, wanted for sedition and murder. Additionally, you saw another massive wanted poster for another strange individual you've now met on a number of occasions. The strange, somewhat mysterious Dr. Nightingale, also wanted for sedition, theft, and murder. Upon arriving in the city itself, arriving to the city walls themselves, you managed to talk your way through one of the entrances past the guards, despite these potentially problematic wanted posters, and you began heading through the city itself, trying to find this supposed location known as Gami's Mantle. Inside the city, you were swiftly directed to, after asking about gods and worship, to a location known as the Svulfkirke, or the Church of the Divine 12. The largest cathedral-like church in this part of the continent. You headed northward around the large lake body in the center of the city, known as the Dragon's Heart. Upon arriving in the gardens of the Svulfkirke, you spoke with a number of the individuals there, after observing as well some of the other areas around the city, these being, of course, the large spired castle structure in the almost the very center of the city, just south of the lake, known as the Drakenspire, or the ancestral home of the family Dracon, and the current ruler of the city, Lord Baron Philippe Dracon. In addition, you saw some of the other gates, the Vestklaue on the far end of the city, after you had entered in the Ostklaue, or the East Claw. I'm sorry, you entered into the East Claw, my apologies. You also passed through the Mittelmarkt, which is the large, sprawling market across one of the bridges on the western edge, just before getting to the cathedral gardens of the Svulfkirke. You also noticed a number, upon entering the city, as well as marching through the city and acting as the military and the police of the city of Grossmauer, the Sentinel Guard, these black iron or black steel armored paladins of sorts, and as well as other Sentinel fighters, these heavily armored, heavily armed individuals that patrolled the cities. You didn't see quite a huge presence of any sort of magistrate individuals, which is a bit stark of a difference compared to some of the other larger cities where you saw various individuals with the insignias of Mystra that, you know, carried themselves as spell weavers and mages of all sorts. Here, that seems to be a very less than popular occupation for reasons unknown. You also pass through areas known as the Ridge, one of the finer areas closer to the Drakkenspire, as well as that night where you stayed in the Spine. Not necessarily the poorer part of the city, but definitely more of the working class neighborhoods, for sure. And then northward, you saw heading out, heavily trodden by individuals of dwarven descent, heading towards the mountains along this road known as Durin's Road. But after being led towards the Svolfkirche, you found yourselves at the base of this grand cathedral, 12 spires representing the various known divine 12 gods that are most commonly worshipped here on the continent of Irindal. And you look onto it, all the stained glass, the large marbled spires and large limestone architecture. And as you entered into this structure, you began looking for Gami, the god of death. Inside, you notice that of the more well-worshipped and liked members of the Pantheon, you saw large sculptures and various offering plates and things to those individuals. You also did see, you know, a smaller section to the lesser worshipped and more feared members of the Divine 12, some of the darker gods. And you saw among these, or not among these, but near these, a separate altar, a small but separate altar with a mirror-faced mask for the lone god of death, Gami. But you were instructed that this location might not necessarily be the most deeply tied to this individual. That location was, in fact, outside the city of Grossmauer. A location you now know as Gami's Mantle. That night you stayed in the Spine at a small hostel there, enjoying a much-needed rest after such a long trek and very intense series of days and incidents, trying to garner as much information as possible. The following day, before heading out towards this strange location known as Gami's Mantle, you decided that you were going to try to finally sell or pawn off the signet ring you were given by the Sultan Gesh in the city of Callista. After much searching in the Ridge, the finer areas of the city, you found yourself in a very strange shop with a very rude and eclectic shop owner who haggled vehemently with the three of you in an attempt to try to garner as much of the wealth of this item as possible. And just before you were about to leave, you did manage to strike a deal, and quite a deal it was, as you were given 395 platinum to be split amongst the three of you for this item. Shortly thereafter, you exited back onto the streets of Grossmauer, but only just upon leaving the shop, you found yourselves eventually, or would be eventually, in the presence of less than welcomed company. As Trash, you had turned your head down the street, feeling a chill run down whatever semblance of a spine a Plasmoid might have. And you turn to see two familiar individuals, but not welcome sights in the slightest, wearing silvery gray robes and accompanied by a large construct. You saw a Tabaxi man and a Shadar Kai gray-skinned elf walking your way down the street, wearing a pair of lanterns that you knew all too well, a pair of inquisitors that you had encountered many weeks prior after fleeing the city of Mirstadt. And as these individuals arrive, you decided to swiftly change your form and made it clear to your companions that you needed to leave and needed to leave quickly. With that in mind, what are you all doing as these individuals are approaching you? Not rapidly, but quite quickly.
Did Trash say anything to us or point them out? I don't remember.
Trash,
I'm pretty
would you
sure
like
I
to...
just changed my form and said, like, we have to move now. But then I said, but not, like, in a panic. Like, to not, like, draw attention to ourselves. Does that make any sense? Like, we don't have to start running, but we do have to start moving purposefully away from those individuals.
All right. Well, since I'm a large being and sensing some urgency of not being seen, I'll go ahead and wild shape into sort of garden snake and slither into Dazes' robes.
I can't shapeshift, so I guess I'll just walk.
I
Briskly.
think you're the least conspicuous looking, so maybe that's fine.
And I assume we know where we were aiming to go. Are they like in the direction of where we were aiming to go, or
Give me a perception check. See if you can...
even though we're pretty much walking away from them at this point, I just kind of wanted...
Right. This is to determine if you can tell what direction you need to head in relation to them. You're in quite a tight alley space in this area. It's hard to tell. The best you can tell is you are a little north, looking directly behind you. You can see the spire of the Drakkenspire, one of the highest points in the city. That's really your only point of reference. You're not quite certain where you are as far as your relation. You just know you're a little bit north of that and perhaps a little bit south, somewhere between the Drakkenspire and the lake itself.
All right, well. Can I tell what... I mean, you know what? Let's not worry about it right now. We could just walk in a direction away from them, and then we can figure that out later if we need to.
All right, well, what are you all doing?
If we're in like an alleyway...
It's kind of like a narrow street, almost like an Italian style, very narrow street, enough that either a small carriage, a very narrow carriage, or a cart could be pushed through, but definitely not something like a full-sized carriage or anything of significant width would be able to pass through. And the structures around here are all, either at least 2 stories in most cases, but oftentimes sometimes 3 or 4 story townhomes or large estates. So making it quite claustrophobic in this area. Some of the buildings, are tightly stitched together in these areas. between the various alleyways of this location. It is quite clean here, as this is a more affluent part of the city, but it is difficult to see exactly where you are. All you know is you can see that these individuals that Trash has pointed out are walking towards you now at a normal, but, not, all too casual pace. They seem to have some sort of destination in mind. At this point, they're about, I would say, 85 or 90 feet directly to your left. As you look back, as you exited the storefront, you would look to your left, and they would be heading kind of just around that wide bend.
I'm wrapped like around Dazes' arm. I don't know if he's wearing sleeves or something with but my head would be sticking out just like below the sleeves of his arm cloak or whatever, so I could at least kind of see what's going on.
Sure.
Probably look very cool in if it was like an anime or something, but yeah.
Yeah, try not to stand out too much.
Of course.
So okay, yeah, I guess in that case, when we leave, I guess we'll head right.
Okay. Are you doing so briskly, or are you doing so trying to... How are you all trying to divert attention or lose your potential unwanted encounter here?
I'm thinking go about approximately the same speed that they are, and maybe take a couple of turns here and there, so we could get and potentially stay out of their view.
Okay. I will ask at this point in time, go ahead and I can have everyone either give me a group deception or a group stealth check. It doesn't matter which one you intend to use, but it depends on how you're trying to go about this. I will say, since Trash, you're using your disguise self, you can go ahead and do so with advantage. Floof, you would use the snake's dexterity, but you would also have advantage, as you are technically quite difficult to see. Dazes, this would be a straight roll for you, unfortunately.
That is fair.
Let's see my modifiers for the snake. I'll be one moment here.
I will say, as a group, you're trying to beat a DC of 18.
Okay.
It is quite high,
That is quite high.
This individual is very perceptive.
Let's see if I can pull this off. That's one.
Okay.
$22 was the better of my two rolls.
Okay.
I guess I'll use my stealth. I don't have anything in deception.
Okay.
Well, I'm the most noticeable one here.
What are you doing? Jumping jacks and yelling at him?
Maybe.
Okay.
Over
Well,
here.
unfortunately, that is a natural one, which is slightly offset by your companion's higher deception roll. But unfortunately, Dazes, as you go to turn, you feel the snake coiling across your shoulders and across your arm, and it's uncomfortable. You're not used to it, and it just kind of irks you. And you're kind of, as you're walking away, it's very uncomfortable, and you're kind of walking in a very noticeable candor as you step away, and you almost bump into somebody. And as you do so, you can see that as you kind of turn, feeling like, oh no, and you turn and look right into the eyes of the Inquisitor, who's looking at you very suspiciously now as you're kind of stepping away, and as you turn and look, clocks your face quite quickly.
He punched me?
No, not just clock, like sees
Oh.
your face. No. He doesn't punch you. No, he eyes your face, like clocks you, basically, like his eyes zero in on that point.
Okay.
That is an interesting synonym that I never thought about before.
You've never
clocks.
heard the term, clocking
No,
somebody?
I have. I just never thought that it would be confused with punching and
Yeah.
and registering.
Yes.
So I bumped into somebody else and then bumped into him?
No.
not
He's way back behind you all. He's about,
Mhm.
at this point, like 70-ish feet, 80, 70 feet back. You can see he's accompanied by the, like, more silvery, gray, furred with, like, black speckled, furred tabaxi individual. And then beside them, obviously, this almost 8-foot tall construct is accompanying them from behind the two of them. But you immediately catch just this piercing gaze of this gray-skinned elvish man looking you dead in the eyes.
Oh, fun.
For my own record, is this Scalanus,
Yes.
Yylehorn, and Serene Quill? Are these the two?
Yes.
Okay.
These are the same individuals that confronted you outside the escape tunnels of Mirstadt, the smugglers' routes of Mirstadt,
Got it.
that you were only just able to escape from with the intervention of the Silver Sonnet, specifically one of its founding members, who had shattered the anti-magic lanterns that these Inquisitors use. But you hear now, down the alleyway, "Excuse me over there! Might we have a word?" As he calls to you, Dazes. How do you all respond?
You guys... Is it obvious that they're with me? I mean, there's a snake, so obviously I guess the snake looks
Oh,
like...
I was gonna say, since we're being, we got the Metal Gear exclamation point going on. Is there debris or boxes that I could kind of slither around or behind?
At just a glance, there's a bit of there's some crates and stuff in front of some of the storefronts, but the streets themselves are relatively empty. You see a handful of not crates, but the equivalent of like a pallet, like a cargo flat, basically, that was stacked up against one of the walls directly in front of you, about 10 or 15 feet. And then there's a couple barrels that you can see. One of the shop owners is in the process of moving into their back into their shop for about midday. You can see it's full of rolls of various fine cloths and things like that, but it's used as sort of a bulk display device outside their main storefront. Those are the main items you see at a glance. If you'd like to make a quick perception check, you can, to see if you spot anything else.
Sure, why not?
I was gonna say, if it wasn't obvious that you guys were with me, y'all could just stay here while I go walk up to him, and y'all could roll out.
I'm not opposed to it. I obviously can't communicate that, but I will at least keep my distance and an eye on you.
I mean, I don't trust it. I don't like these people. I'm obviously very fearful of them, and
I mean, we could also just book it.
While you're thinking that over, Floof, you see there's a couple additional sewer grates you didn't spot at your first pass through as your eyes kind of zero in on them. They're not large enough for an individual to pass through, but in your small form, potentially they're more like small storm grates designed like to pass through. You can see also in some of these roads, every so often you see like there's this fine filigree that you didn't notice before, but now you begin to pick up the pattern that you've seen this across some of the roads throughout Grossmauer. It doesn't seem to have any sort of indication of, direction or anything like that. It just seems you can see there's this fine silvered metal inlaid in some of the cobblestones in a very definitive way, but it doesn't seem to be used as any sort of like separation or markers or any to indicate that. In fact, it even goes like directly under some of the foundations of the building, but you definitely notice it as you're passing through, that you just hadn't been paying attention up to now, but that metallicness catches your eye alongside the sewer grate. But that particular those inlaid silver coated lines of metal in between some of the cobblestones just catches your eye at a glance.
All right, I'll try to go into the sewer grate. I'm assuming there's maybe some kind of metal ladder thing somewhere in there. I can wrap myself.
Yeah, it's not really made for humans. It's like the size of. It's probably no more than like 6 inches wide. It's like a drain pipe, more than it is like a manhole made for somebody to climb down.
All right, yeah, I'll try to get in there and in a way that lets me kind of look up through,
Okay,
and then listen to see if I can hear what's going on.
okay.
Yeah, I guess if that's the plan, I'll still walking away at whatever pace I was taking as if we're not related, but I will try to, depending on how the streets are laid out, if I could at least like turn a corner and then like stop moving and see if I can
Okay.
kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, with your previous stealth check, that seems to, or deception, you're able to get a little bit further than Dazes had, given his uncomfortableness with having the snake rolling across his shoulders and his neck. Just a bit uncertain by that movement. But you were able to get a little bit further before you hear the voice call out to your companion, as you kind of step casually behind one of the first intersections of these back roads that you see. As you kind of look back, these individuals are now making a beeline towards your companion Dazes.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and walk towards them as they walk towards me.
Okay. It takes a few moments, but they do walk towards you. You can hear the loud thudding footsteps of this Helion Guardian. Very familiar with the sound from your encounter previously. This like the feeling of air pressure pushing out from the various joints, as if some sort of servo or cushioning mechanism is pushing air out to dampen the weight of this entity as it steps towards you in a human-like manner, but definitely is a fully functioning construct of sorts. But as these two individuals step closer, you see the first, the grayish skin. You also notice the large scar on their face, very reminiscent of some sort of burn across one side of their face. You see they have their hood up right now, this darkened, almost like moonlight blue or black hood over the top of their head, but you can see little their tightly bunned hair tied back to the back of their head, and you can see that they've got a mixture of like rather odd facial tattoos, a handful of piercings on their lower lip, and a large ring that loops back to a chain around some ear adornments. But on the left side of their face, you can see there's a scar of burns all across that side of their face, almost to the center of their nose, terminating about halfway across one side of their face, as these piercing silvery blue eyes eye you down, Dazes. It's been some time, but I believe we've crossed paths before, have we not? Might I ask what brings you here, good sir, to the city of Grossmauer, after such a interesting first meeting we had?
Well, I came to visit the churches, as I did earlier, to ask some information of the gods, and I made my way to the shop over here. I went to it just a few moments ago to do some business.
Perhaps trying to repent for past transgressions?
Yes, our meeting that we had previously was very unfortunate.
Indeed.
But
What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
I'd say I don't mean to cause any issues in this place while I'm here.
I would hope not, as this isn't an area that really plays favors for the less savory kind. This is more of a dignified location of God-fearing individuals and well-trained soldiers of the like. Speaking of groups and individuals, as well as the collective presence here in the city, might I inquire what's happened to your two companions that you were traveling amongst? I fail to see anyone around but yourself.
Yes, well, we parted ways a few moments back after we got here, so I'm not quite sure where they are at the moment.
Ah, so you are still traveling together. I was quite curious why I seem to have noticed, although briefly, but I did notice for a time there was a request by the royal family of Callista, no less, for a trio of adventurers that seemed to run afoul of their motives and their duties, but that request for apprehension was swiftly declined and removed, all but no more than a day later. I find that very odd. Not unheard of if mistakes and clerical errors were made, but I'm not one to really believe in mistakes. Care to elaborate?
Well, without giving too much detailed information, is some. I don't want to say too much, considering that it involves the royalty to a degree. But suffice it to say, yes, we were in Callista for a time, but we were able to meet with the royal family there and talk over our circumstances a bit and aim to an understanding of agreement.
Might I inquire what those circumstances were? You've made quite the trek around the continent in such a short period of time.
Oh, sorry.
Oh. The alarms are going off. You've made quite the trek around the continent. An impressive feat for someone to do by normal means. Care to elaborate?
Well, unfortunately, that involves releasing a lot of information that I would prefer to keep to myself, as it involves, a lot of information pertaining to a few parties who may not want their personal or private information, out there for everyone to know or hear. So, it's not my information to share, I should say.
Oh, but I am a man of the cloth, don't you see? It is my duty and my utmost priority to protect the sanctity and the privacy of those who have done no wrong. Surely you would share with me in my duties to protect those who are innocent across this continent and to assist in apprehending those who would wish harm to the many innocents across Irindal.
Well, while I would very much like to aid in the capture of any of those who may deem to do harm, again, I'm sorry to say that the information is not only mine to share. If said parties that were involved were also in agreement with me, giving you this information, then I may be able to acquiesce. But I am unfortunately only one involved party, so I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable giving that information to you at this particular moment.
That is totally understandable, but I really must insist. I am currently in the process of tracking down a rather dangerous individuals, perhaps, depending on who they've cooperated with, and your unique companion seems to have a quite interesting and long-standing relationship with my query. So, really, I must insist that I find them and ask them where this individual might be. And then you hear, you can see that their Tabaxi companion steps behind you, Dazes, to kind of stop you from stepping away. So please, I really must insist. Won't you call your friends here and let's have a little bit of a chat? If you relinquish what I'm asking for, I have no business with you further. But if you continue to impede my investigation, I won't hesitate to use other necessary means to continue this endeavor.
Well, as I said earlier, I'm not 100% sure of the location of my companions, but I suppose if they're close by, they can reveal themselves. I'll go ahead and yell y'all's names. Trash, Floof, are y'all out there? And I'll wait for a while, and I'll say, well, I suppose they're not around. I'm sorry. Honestly,
As you say the words honestly, you watch him click his fingers. and you feel this silvery white light emulate out from the center of his person and surround the general area. Dazes, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Oh, finally, an okay roll.
Okay. You feel like you're being compelled to... Every fiber of your being is struggling right now to try to hide the truth behind your candied words. And for a moment, you feel like it's going to slip before you muster your resolve, feeling the energies deep within the core of your being. And you're able to shake off whatever this is. As you hear the Inquisitor say once again, "Interesting. You're a lively one. A few round that would be able to resist that forcible method of divining the truth. Nevertheless, the fact that you did resist shows some sort of guilt in your intent. So I'll ask again. Where are your companions?"
I don't know.
Very well. You watch as he steps away, and you see this Helion Guardian step forward and reach out towards you, Dazes. "Take him with us." And it's going to go in for a grapple. I need you to make an acrobatics check in opposition of their grapple attempt.
Okay.
Or acrobatics or athletics, whichever you prefer.
All right. I'm going to unjoin and rejoin the Discord. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. There was like some buzzing.
Oh, okay. While this is going on, Trash and Floof, what are you doing as you watch this? You've pretty much close enough that you can hear this whole conversation. And you, Floof, just barely on the periphery. You're not quite in the spell's radius in that drain pipe, but you could definitely sense that there was some sort of divine magic that was released upon the somatic snapping of the fingers from this individual.
Dazes has kept our whereabouts hidden, so I'm going to respect that choice but stand by at the ready to help or attack if Dazes is apprehended.
Okay. Trash, what are you doing?
Acrobatics or athletics?
Am I hidden out of view?
Yeah, either or.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as you can tell right now, you are hidden out of view.
Okay. How much space would you say I have? Like, let's say I'm watching this happen and it's like along an alleyway or along like a street and I'm like on the side of a building. Like, what's...
I would say you're just around the corner on the side of a building, probably about 35 feet away. You can just barely see the top of the snake's head popping out of this drain, watching this situation, which is just outside of the radius of some sort of spell that was cast from the Inquisitor's position. And then you can now see this huge, this 8-foot tall, like steel construct with all sorts of religious glyphs and iconography like etched into its frame, stepping forward to grasp your companion Dazes. What did you rolled a 17?
Yep.
It goes to grasp you, and you almost do like the splits and duck out of the way, slipping below its legs back towards the opposite direction. You still have your full movement. You have not been grappled. What are you doing as you resist this apprehension?
How far am I away from him?
I would say you're about 35 feet away.
Okay. I'm not really thinking clearly. I'm in panic mode. These people drive like me into a primal like fight or flight response state.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I can think to do, being a bit selfish and assuming that Floof is safe, I am going to try to cast, I don't know if it's gonna work, Vortex Warp
Okay.
on Dazes.
Okay. Are you trying to cast this covertly, or are you just you're just casting it instinctively to get him out of there?
I mean, I guess as covertly as I can, but I do need to be able to see Dazes.
Sure. Yeah, there are verbal or somatic components to this spell.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you'd like to try to do it as covertly as possible, I need you to make a stealth check before you do that.
Okay.
Is the reason I'm asking.
Stealth?
Yes.
Stealth.
A stealth or a sleight of hand, whichever you prefer.
They're both the same for
Okay.
me. Suppose 17 plus 5, 22.
22. Okay.
Let me note.
Just one moment here. Okay. You feel pretty certain that no one hears you mutter this incantation. And Dazes, just as you duck out of the way and you step below the legs of this massive construct, you feel this whirling of air below your feet. You're uncertain of what's going on. You can choose to resist and the spell. You're not certain where it's coming from. You can choose to resist it, or you can let it happen. It's your choice. What are you doing?
Do I still have a view on? Was that the Tabaxi who stepped away? To let the construct do his thing?
The Tabaxi was basically behind you as the other Inquisitor, Scalanus, stepped out of the way in this construct. So you've kind of gone back the other way, the way they came, to the left of the shop. You're maybe about 5 feet to the left of the shop's entry where you just exited. And then the Tabaxi and all three of them are basically behind where you were standing before.
Okay. Yeah, fuck it. I mean, the thing I was gonna do is kind of similar, so this might help out, honestly.
Okay. You're not certain what's going on, but you just say, I don't know what this is, and just immediately as you're like, I don't know what, and you just are just sucked into this vortex, and you drop out of existence temporarily before just jettisoned. Trash, where do you send your companion?
Maybe as I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like as clearly as I can. I'm not really thinking like a tactician by any means. So I think for me, I just blink him beside me with as little like cover as I think we have been afforded.
Okay.
And when he's here, I'm just like, we run. And then I'm just gonna like, I'm gonna book it.
Okay.
Okay.
Dazes, you just suddenly just warp back into existence directly beside your companion in their halfling-looking form, uncertain of what just happened, but you can see that you basically come back into existence a few, probably about 40, 45 feet away from where you were previously. Floof, as this is happening, what are you doing as you watch Dazes just sink out of the existence and warp away to someplace you don't initially see?
Can I see the Inquisitor's reaction
Yeah. Initially, at this distance, yeah, it's pretty. They're very uncertain of what just happened, as they did not realize that there were individuals nearby. But you can immediately see that they're reaching for these lanterns at their waist, and as they grip them off their belt, you can see in this process, you can begin to feel this pulsation, this aura emanating off of them. You are just outside of it, but you can sense it. This suppressing aura emanating from these lanterns. This silvery, grayish white light coming off these lanterns is suppressing whatever arcana is within their range.
Okay. Well, seeing the reaction and I guess deducing that they didn't move Dazes, I think I would probably assume Trash did something to get him to safety. But hearing this, we've encountered this before, so I think I know that. Probably. Do I know if it'll take me out of wild shape?
You're not quite certain on that one. If you want to give me a quick Arcana check, you're welcome to try. To see.
I'll give it a try.
You're not quite certain. Your particular innate magic is some of the most unique you've ever seen. You've never seen anyone outside of the individual inside the Verdant Embrace use any sort of magic like your own.
Okay. So I think I would assume if this gets within range of me, I'm going to lose wild shape. That's what my instincts are telling me, but I don't know. So my choice is to either come above ground, go much deeper into this sewer system, because I'm assuming if I expand in this small area, it'll probably not be good for me. Floof doesn't know which to do. So if a 1, I'm going up. 2, I'm going down. Alright, I'm slithering up into the ground and trying to get behind, or get out of their sight behind anything, or follow that lady into her fabric shop or whatever.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Okay.
Is that using the snakes?
Oh,
I mean,
no. The snake
I mean,
would be
either
-2
way.
from that.
Yeah. Either way. As you slither up, your snake-like form draws the attention of the tabaxi that's standing closest to you. And as you turn, he gives you an odd look, pointing it out to the other Inquisitor. That is most uncertain. Don't forget, one of them is a shapeshifter. That has to be them. Follow them now! As they're turning towards you, and you hear this, Dazes and Trash, you just hear, one of them is a shapeshifter. Follow them now!
We know what drain Floof went into, right?
Yeah, you would see him looking back. Trash, you would see this, and you would see Floof coming out of the drain and trying to move away. I would say, Floof, in that one movement, you've probably moved. What's the total movement of the snake?
30.
30? I would say you've moved about 25 feet away from your original position in the drain before you're noticed by the Tabaxi Inquisitor.
Okay. Let me think. I know where Trash went. I don't want to lead these guys to them. I want to lead them away. Is there another sewer drain that I could slip into and go down?
Would I have seen this or like heard this and like look back to see this happen, or? I don't know.
Yeah. No, you heard immediately when he yells out, one of them is a shapeshifter. You hear that immediately, and you don't know any other shapeshifters other than your companion Floof. So it's very obvious who they're speaking about. Like, these are not stupid individuals. They understand their targets, and they are, very much hunters and detectives by very nature. Like, you've seen enough Inquisitors to know that is how they are trained to operate.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the run-of-the-mill guards, or they operate, in a very decisive manner and are extremely acute.
Floof is considering going down another sewer or just dismissing wild shape and
you can see directly in front of you. There's another street drain, probably about another 40 feet in front of you.
I'll make a book for that.
Okay. You only get another about 5 feet in that initial movement. This is all happening very quickly. And with that, with this all reaching kind of a fever pitch, let's go ahead and roll initiative. Give me just one sec here. I'm going to pull up the turn order. Let me clear this one.
That is all of us rolling initiative, right?
Yeah, that's everybody rolling initiative. Go ahead and... is that not showing up? I mean, I can just enter them manually. So just don't worry about it. I'll add them. Okay. Alright, give me just a second here. Let me move this over real quick. Alright, and the Guardian. Alright. Okay. With that, Dazes, you're the first to act. You're standing beside your companion Trash after they've seemingly warped you out of existence and you've been brought back in this other location. Unsure of how you got here, but initially getting your bearing as you look back. They've noticed your transformed companion Floof. What are you doing?
Okay. Give me... It's like the general distances between all of us right now.
Floof has kind of come parallel with you guys. You can see the snake moving along the street, and it seems to be heading towards another drain about another 30, 35 feet down this narrow alleyway road, similar to the one that it popped out of. So there may be, almost parallel with this intersection that you're at now. Another 30, 35 feet back is the trio of Inquisitors and the Guardian.
Okay, so Floof is kind of in between us.
Yeah, I mean, you're closer. You're probably 10 or 15 feet from him as the crow flies. To the point where you're ducked behind, but you can see him now that he's come in parallel with you and your transformed companion Trash.
And which way is he? Is he going like perpendicular to us?
Yeah, so this road runs like directly into a T intersection, perpendicular. So he's continuing down this road straight, the perpendicular road to you all. But he's basically like right at that intersection. He's like right in the intersection of these two small roads.
Okay. Well, I don't want to go towards. That was kind of. Let me see. Let me read this again. All right, no, that's that one. Okay. Well, I want to ask. I don't know if I guess I don't really have time to like consult with Draft, but I kind of want to ask, like, are we splitting up? Because I'm if I can see Floof, then I'm sure she can as well.
Yeah, you can both have a line of sight of him right now.
Yeah,
but you don't. The Inquisitors and the Guardian don't seem to have noticed where you two are. They only seem to be focused on the snake crawling out of this drain.
I wonder if I can. Can we see where Floof is going towards, or can we just see that he's there and he's moving?
You can see he's heading towards what looks like another one of those drains.
Okay. Okay. I mean, you said these streets were pretty clean. Is there not anything that I can find to like throw or toss to like make noise to sort of try to distract?
I mean, there's pebbles and loose, things on the ground, like little like rocks and things. Now, no more than like the size of a copper piece at the very most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing really all that loud.
No, not that you could grab in a quick instant. No, I mean there's crates and stuff, but I mean it would take one hell of an athletics check to try to pick one of those up as you pass by and throw it, and it would be quite obvious what's going on at that point as well. It wouldn't be very stealthy if you're throwing a large object.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you have something on yourself that you want to throw that you want to try to use as a distraction, you're welcome to try.
I mean, I had something that I was considering drinking. I don't know if I have anything that I really want to throw. I mean, I got stuff I can throw. Like it says, I got a crowbar. Crowbars are can make some noise.
Oh yeah, yeah. A crowbar would definitely make some noise. It's
Yeah.
just a big piece of metal.
Sure, why not? I'll try it.
Okay.
I'll try taking out my crowbar.
Okay.
And, I guess I'll toss it. I'm just trying to distract him for long enough for Floof to get where he's going.
Okay.
So I just want to. I guess I'm throwing it. If we're in a line, and Floof is going, let's say he's going left.
Yeah, he's passing by you guys at this perpendicular intersection.
I guess I would want to throw it right.
Okay.
To make it sound like maybe, me and or Trash are in that direction. So I'm trying to take them off of the trail of where we are and where Floof is.
Okay. Go ahead and give me, I'll say this. Make an attack roll. I will say on a, let's call this this would be an improvised thrown weapon. So go ahead, let's say we're going to set the DC, or in this case, since you're basically throwing it like an improvised weapon. I will set the DC at 14.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll a d20 and add your dexterity modifier. You're not proficient with improvised weapons.
No, I'm not.
So go ahead and do that. If you meet the attack roll, we'll go ahead and call this a success.
Okay, so it's so I'm gonna do a dex roll though.
Yeah, it's a d20
And
plus
that
your
is
dex
okay,
modifier.
dex roll.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Sag, I think. I forgot what the DC was. 14, wasn't it?
14.
Damn.
Now, I'll point something out here. Trash, I believe you have a feature that might work here.
Oh yeah, I do.
I'll throw you a bone here.
I do.
Just as a polite GM reminder here, since it's new features and such.
Yeah, I haven't used it in a bit. Yeah, I'll expend one of those, and my reaction is to add a +4 to the roll.
A D4 or just a +4?
A +4.
Okay, that would turn that into a success. As Dazes goes to throw and wing this crowbar, you can see that the angle of his throw is a little bit off, and as you do this, you kick the back of his heel just enough that the angle changes slightly, and instead of hitting the top of this adjacent building, it just barely clears over the top of the building, so it's not noticeable, but you still hear it ding, 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 just this loud metal falling on the opposite side of where the two Inquisitors and the Guardian are, definitely making a loud clanking noise back the other way as the crowbar falls in one of the alleyways. And you don't see it, but you hear the voices as this is happening. Damn it! You two, head that way! Cut them off in the path. They may be trying to split up. I'll continue on this way. And that's what you hear. Dazes, you still have your bonus action and your movement. What are you doing?
Okay, well, with my movement, I'm probably running.
Okay.
And bonus action. I guess, let me see, bonus action. I kind of want to, do bonus action, prepare to dodge or something like that, just in case.
Okay.
I don't know. It might be a little longer than a turn till they catch us if they do. But
okay. So you run your movement, and then you're gonna use your pace and defense.
Yeah.
Okay. As you head down the street. Okay. Looking back towards your companion Trash.
Actually, can I? What? Maybe instead of doing that, what kind of action is it to drink a potion? Is it? It's just a regular action.
It's a full action to drink a potion.
It's a full action.
Yes.
Can I use part of my action this turn and then?
Well,
So,
you
like,
already used your action to
prepare to drink
throw
a
the
potion?
crowbar.
Okay.
I would say that's your action because that's basically you're having to wind up and throw this thing like like a projectile weapon. That is generally an action.
Okay. So like to pull a potion out of my bag would be a regular action.
To pull it out and drink it would be an action.
Would it just
To just get
pull
it in
out?
your hand would be a free action. Yeah, you wouldn't have to even expend
Oh,
anything.
okay.
Yeah, just
All
to
right,
have
yeah.
it ready, but you couldn't actually like drink it. But yeah, you could certainly pull it out of your bag and have it ready to go, but it doesn't really save you any time. It still takes
Okay.
you a full action to consume it.
I understand. Okay.
Yep.
In that case, I will do what I said before: run and prepare patient defense,
Okay,
and then I'll just also free action take this potion out.
gotcha. All right. Floof, you can hear behind you the rapid footsteps and the sudden you hear this almost like this popping noise. Trash, you have the spell Misty Step, correct? Or do you not?
Me?
Yes.
I don't have Misty
You
spell
don't have
now.
Okay, never mind then. Scratch that. You hear this popping noise, like a pocket of air is like compressed and then released, and you turn the eyes of the snake and you on the side of your head as opposed to your normal vision, which is more straightforward. You turn and you look and you heard the footsteps coming towards you, but then you hear this popping noise, and all of a sudden, nearly like instantaneously behind you, you see the figure looming over you in this silvery white light consuming everything around you, Floof, as the Inquisitor has basically narrowed the gap in an instant, utilizing their divine step to try to chase after you.
Okay.
So you are within the anti-magic sphere right now. You feel your energies being overwhelmed and suppressed. But that being said, you don't transform back.
Okay.
You are still in your wild shape, but as you go to, release any sort of energies, you feel it just as if it's just being crushed into a singularity inside you beneath the weight of whatever this divine magic is. Whatever is emanating from this lantern is suppressing all of your other magics, but your wild shape is still maintained. Your current wild shape.
Okay.
As I say that, the Inquisitor is going to try to swing down towards you with their mace. As they step forward. They took about 10 feet of movement, teleported. Now they're 5 feet behind you. Take another step, just close enough that they can swing down towards you.
Okay.
As you see them in one hand holding this lantern, the other one holding this rather ornate-looking small, like morning star mace as they swing it down towards you. Only getting an 11 to hit. I don't know what
That will
your...
not hit.
Okay. Unfortunately, that their swing misses wide as the ball of this mace slams against the cobblestone road just beside you as you slither out of the way and continue onward. You don't see the other two chasing after as they seem to have headed in the opposite direction. You hear the large, heavy, air-dampened footsteps of this Helion guardian heading the way. Trash, you can also hear the two other individuals heading the opposite direction, following the sound that your companion Dazes had created. But where you are now, you are basically standing where you were before. You can see now the Inquisitor has not spotted you as they are focused on this your transformed companion Floof, this snake. But they did not spot you as they ran by. Dazes has headed the other direction after throwing the crowbar over the roof of this building. What are you doing?
That is a good question. I mean, just based on my like quick perception of events, do I feel, at least with what I can just glean, that Floof might be able to like duck in the sewers and be okay? And get away from the attack? Or
Give me a perception check.
that is, let's see, it's just 15.
A 15. Still a good roll. You can see at this distance that Floof is directly beside the Inquisitor, like within, melee attacking range, as they swung down to try to slam this mace against this small, like, garden snake, this, little, like, what would you call it, like a rat snake that your companion has transformed into. If your companion tries to move out of that radius, they are going to, you can already see they're beginning to swing up, and you see this concentration of energy in this field, but they are well and truly inside this anti-magic barrier. So anything that they try to do magically right now inside that barrier is going to be null and void. But that does not mean that you do not feel the effects of that anti-magic field. At your distance,
right.
You're well and truly away. Probably a good, I would say 35, no, even less than that, probably 25 or 30 at the most feet away, looking at the back of the Inquisitor and Floof, who's slithering towards this drain pipe.
So, like, Floof is at least, like, beside the drain pipe from
No,
what I can gather, or no?
He is about 35 feet away from the drain pipe right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is like right beside the Inquisitor and very much inside this
The sphere.
the sphere of this anti-magic lantern that you've seen several times now, both in use and just on the person of some of these Inquisitors.
Okay. I don't know if Floof is going to try to resist this not knowing what I'm doing. I can try to, like, warp him out of the way as well.
Worth a try.
And where did Dazes start running? In the...
You saw him heading, like, perpendicular behind you, heading down the street the other way. Is that correct, Dazes? You're heading down the street away from this previous intersection, correct?
That is about right, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, after he threw the crowbar, he turned and started running the other way.
Okay.
You can see him just a little ways behind you. He's kind of taken a defensive stance, ready to react if need be.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try casting Vortex Warp on Floof.
Floof. Much like you saw your companion Dazes, you see this circulation below you outside, or at least being this energy coming from outside this sphere of suppressive divine energy. suppressing your magic, but for some reason this energy is coming from outside this radius. Something is circling up around you, and you feel it beginning to draw you down into the ground. You're not certain where it's coming from, but you've seen this a couple times before. Do you resist or do you let it happen?
Yeah, and I will point out I have used this spell.
That's fair. Yeah,
before.
You're. I would say, yeah, you're familiar enough that you realize something is trying to draw you in and move you out of this position.
I think having just seen what happened to Dazes, I wouldn't resist.
Okay. That same suction of energy pulling you out of the very existence of your current location, just pulling you down as if sucking you down into the earth itself before you are jettisoned up into the air directly in front of your companion. Or I'm sorry, Trash, where would you like to put Floof? My apologies. That is your choice.
I'll say maybe just with us, assuming that right now we're basically trying to just run for our lives, like out of the city or something. But I don't think it would make sense, at least in my head, for us now to just split off for no reason. Because then not only would we run separately, but then my thinking is then we'd have to try to find each other, and at that point then we're just making it harder to, like, we'd have to make ourselves known to find each other, is my thinking. So I at least bring them to us, and then hopefully we can stick together and run kind of thing. Okay.
So with that, where do you place Floof? Do you put him next to you? Do you put him next to Dazes? You have, I think, up to 90 feet of movement, forced movement. Where would you like to put your companion?
Am I further, or Dazes is further from at least one or the closest Inquisitor?
You are the closest to the Inquisitor until you, after you move Floof, you are the closest to them. So Dazes is about 30 feet behind you.
Okay, I'll move them. I'll move to Dazes, like.
Okay, Floof, you suddenly are jettisoned like a snake in a funhouse tube out of this vortex of energy. Dazes, directly you see this energy, that same energy that had drawn you away, suddenly forms up in front of you until this snake comes jettisoning up into your chest.
Like it.
I don't know, do you?
I don't know.
I would say with your patient defense, you catch it like two-handed. Floof, you feel the grip of your companion Dazes holding you around your head and your body, like as if this snake was about to like bite you in the nose.
I mean, I did prepare dodge. Maybe I dodged instead.
Either or, I'm just doing this for flavor.
Yeah.
As the snake, like, you catch it directly in front of your nose before, and the tongue just like whips out and like tickles your nose.
Hello, Floof.
But
all right, well,
you are
in your hands now.
With that, is there anything else you'd like to do, Trash? That is your action. You still have your movement and your bonus action. I also forgot you have your steel defender with you, don't you?
I mean, yeah.
Somewhere on you.
Raccoon is always,
Okay.
or panda is always somewhere,
Yeah.
So this is one of those situations where I'm just like, ah.
I would have just assumed they're like on your back or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can be, I think they can be any number of sizes, so that makes sense.
He just takes the shape of a trash panda. Yeah, I think for me, it's like logically above the table as a player. I know this is not a good move to burn all my spells, but my character, Trash, is again in fight or flight mode and is burning through every spell if it means that she can get away from the Inquisitors, because she would rather die than be captured again.
That's fair.
Respect the roleplay.
Smoke them if you got them.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna say for
Now that
it
being
won't matter for this turn, I guess.
Yeah.
But bonus action, I can cast Expeditious Retreat on myself.
that being said, you can't cast 2 leveled spells in a turn.
Oh, true, because I cast Vortex Warp.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so I'll keep that for next turn, and then I'm just gonna run basically for like
Okay.
full movement, and then that'll be my turn until
You catch up to your companion, Dazes. Right as they're catching up to you, Dazes. Let's see. Guardian is moving the other way. Floof, you up into the hands of your companion, but you are outside of the suppressive aura of the anti-magic lanterns. And right as this happens, you can hear further down, now about like 60, 65 feet away, directly like in the intersection of where you just left, you turn, Dazes, you look up now with your companion Trash in their disguised form and the snake in between your hands, looking up directly as if you're like going to like march in a marching band with this snake like a flute between your hands, looking up right at the Inquisitor, his piercing grayish blue eyes looking right at the trio of you. You idiots, get back over here! As he calls out to his companions, and proceeds to rush, but it is not his turn yet. This is just a gut reaction as he turns and like looks to see the 3 of you after his target was just clutched from below his grasp. But Floof, it is your turn. What would you like to do? You are still in snake form. You're just being held in place loosely by your companion Dazes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would. Can I prepare movement just in case?
You can hold your action or hold your movement to. I would say you could hold the action to dash if you want to do that.
I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, you can hold your action to dash, as a reaction at a later turn. If you
Yeah,
want.
I think I'll save that because I don't want to waste a spell. I feel like we're.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
Okay. Dazes, we're back to you. Trash has just rushed up beside you, and you can see the fear in their eyes. Well, if they had eyes, you can see the fear in their gelatinous form as it, kind of has this like quiver that goes from like tip of the tail up to the tips of the ears of their rat-like gelatinous form as they look at you and are just bolting the other way. What are you doing?
Also bolting the same other way.
Okay. You got it. Are you moving and dashing? Like, what are you doing here?
Well, I don't want to move too fast because I know I got a little more speed than my compatriots, so I don't want to like run faster than them.
Sure.
But yeah, I'll run. I mean, I suppose Floof's speed doesn't matter, so I'll run as fast as Trash can run. So
yeah, the snake's not going to inhibit you. It's a tiny creature.
Right. Actually, can I? Well, I guess carrying Trash would probably slow me down.
Yeah, carrying Trash would slow you down. Because they are, they're a small creature. They wouldn't slow you down as much, but it would slow you down because you are carrying a creature. But that being said, you do have your monk abilities if you wanted to use that to further expedite your movement.
As a group, yes.
Okay. I think with Step of the Wind and a full dash, you could move, I think it's 90 feet?
Yeah, Step of the Wind. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's right. Yeah, I can use my movement, and then I can use my bonus action to dash.
Okay.
I can use my regular action to dash. Yeah, I'll just move as fast as I can along with dash.
Okay. I would say with them being a small creature and the fact that you're using a key point in Step of the Wind, you wouldn't be able to move your full 90 feet, but you could definitely move 60 feet.
Okay.
With them beside you. So you would be able to move. Right now, you're about 60 feet away from the Inquisitor. This would get you about 120 feet away from them.
Can I tell if that's faster or slower than if we were like running separately? But like next to them?
I mean, if you're just running at your normal speed and not drawing on your inner energies, then you would basically, well, what's your normal speed? I'm sorry.
45.
45. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're so your normal dash speed is 90. And then that would be another 45 with Step of the Wind. Yeah, you'd be 100 and you'd be even fast. Yeah, you would have moved like 90 feet already with trash.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot your speed was 45. Fucking monks, man. Holy shit. Ah, damn. I forgot how fast.
We out of there.
He's just zoom gone. Even with trash, you're moving like 90 feet. Definitely faster than they could have moved by themselves without some sort of magical teleportation or assistance.
All right, well, we're doing that then.
Okay. Trash, you just feel Dazes scoop you up around the waist as you kind of, do your best to wrap your form around him as he's just full-blown, wide receiver down the field, gone. As fast as he can. It
largely feels like, as disgusting as this is, it feels like if you inserted your arm into a bucket of goop.
Yeah, it's enough resistance that your hand only sinks in a little bit. But it is quite strange to carry your semi I don't. Yeah, it is very much like trying to lift an object and have it like just droop over your grasp.
Yeah.
Like a non-Newtonian fluid.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait. Okay, wait.
It's
Trash
canon now.
Wait, can I pick up Trash Manta too? Is that an option?
I'll let it slide in this instance.
Okay.
So we'll say you've moved 90 feet from your position. So now you're about 150 feet away from the Inquisitor.
Okay. And yeah, as I pick them up, I'll just say some direction would be nice because I don't know where I'm going.
Do any of us know where we're going?
Away from them.
Give me a survival check in this instance to see if you can tell where you're going, based on the things around you.
Okay.
It's not really a perception. This is definitely a survival to see if you can determine what your direction is.
My survival's not the best.
I got +4 on it.
Okay. Are we all individually rolling, or is it just...
I would say as a group, you can go ahead. If Dazes wants to assist, you can have advantage on the roll.
Okay. I'll take that, I guess.
I'll do that.
How about a nat 20? Is that get the job done?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Okay, well, we'll just do that then.
Oh, shit.
The snake coils up
Just,
your
like,
arm.
hissing at us, and
Yeah,
we're like, how do we
you
interpret
see this snake as you're saying this and talking about what direction to go. Floof, you can see the highest spire with the zero in and the tongue flicking out. You're tasting the air. You can smell the smokestacks coming off of this main building in the center of town. You can 100% tell that you are moving almost due south towards the Drakkenspire at the center of this part of the city. It is definitely not in the direction of any type of exit, but you're not certain. You can see that there are definitely other offshoot alleyways in various directions, coming up about 30, 40 feet in front of you, either east or west, or just some offshoot of those two directions. But you are 100% certain you are heading towards the Drakkenspire.
I mean, I kind of, constrict around the arm and kind of hiss in that direction then to give them the indication that that's where we should probably head.
I'll look at where your head's pointing, I guess.
You can see the way he's coiled up, and at first you're like, what is he doing? And then you can see it's spelling out an S for south.
Okay. Yeah, we zooming.
Okay. Oh shit! I closed the. Let me pull this back up. Sorry. All right. The Inquisitor. We are still in initiative as he still has a visual on you all at this point. So let me see here. I need to look and see what the range of this is. We're not close enough for that.
Well, I need to remove this crowbar from my inventory because I'm
that
not
you do.
using
That is gone. Let's see here. That's not gonna work. There's the range on this. Ooh. Do that. That's self. What about? Oh, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. That's might work, but probably not likely. Ooh, what is the range on that, actually? No, I don't think he can still get within range of you. Again, he starts running. And as he's running, he runs about 30 feet towards you all. Not quite catching up anywhere near your speed, but again, Floof, you hear that pop, and this time you all can just barely hear this soft pop as suddenly he just implodes and then reignites about 30 feet forward in this same sort of burst of silvery white light in this divine step as he takes it towards you all, getting him in range. As you see in the palm of his hand this flaring pocket of divine energy, as he just wings it out, like just softball pitches this thing towards you all. Dazes, he's going to try to cast Guiding Bolt on you.
Fantastic.
And he's going to cast that.
You catch those. You dodge. You deflect.
He's
Do I
going
still
to
have my dodge prepared?
cast...
Actually, I do. I can maybe deflect it.
Does patient defense require you to be stationary, or is it just until your next turn? What does it read?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. It just spends you can spend a key point to take it on as a bonus action on your turn. So I probably had to say it on my previous turn.
Right, because your turn has passed, so it would be Okay. All right, so you would no longer have the effects of patient defense. So this would not be at disadvantage. So he's going to try to wing a guiding bolt at you, and he's going to do that at 4th level.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants to stop you.
Excuse me.
So I need, let's see, yeah. In fact, I'm going to roll this above the table. This is a +9 to hit.
Okay.
Or +9 to the roll. So, what's your DC?
It is, my armor is 19.
19. So he needs to roll a 10 up.
Yeah. Or that's you meant AC, right?
Your AC, yes.
Okay. Yeah, 19.
19. Yeah, so he needs to roll a 10 up to hit you. So here we go.
Does this count as a missile?
It's not really, it's a spell attack. It's not a projectile.
Okay.
I don't think
That
so.
is. Did you roll?
No, I haven't rolled it yet.
Oh, okay.
Give me just a sec, sorry.
Sorry, I thought I heard it.
That is a natural one!
Oh.
As he slings it up, you watch as just as you're dashing by, this door opens up from one of the shops, and this stained glass door just gets obliterated by this blast of energy. Just like, it is beautiful as it is chaotic, as this shit just sprays all over the alleyway as this poor Fearbolg woman steps out. She's about like almost 6 feet tall, like a large lady, steps out and turns the corner and ducks just as this bolt of divine energy shatters her storefront stained glass door.
Our poor door.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, his attack misses. That is his turn. Oh man, that was really funny. Worth it.
Love to see it.
The other two turn back the other way, but it's going to take their full movement and dash to get even to that intersection. And they're still 60 feet behind Inquisitor Elahorn. Trash, we're on to you. You were in the arms of your companion Dazes as he is just football carrying you down the road as quickly as he can as this blast of divine energy shatters this door behind you.
Oh.
But I would say you were about at this point 90 feet in front of the Inquisitor.
90 feet away from them?
They're about 90 feet behind you at this current point in time of how far your companion Dazes has carried you.
Interesting. What do I want to do?
Damn. I don't know why I didn't. Oh, I was thinking about that and I'm like, I did not give them that spell. That sucks. Damn it. That would have worked perfectly, and they don't have that spell. Or at least not prepared. They have it on their spell list, but they don't have it prepared right now. So I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Respect.
The spell I'm thinking of is Dimension Door, which would have put them right in front of you.
Oh yeah.
They don't have Dimension Door on their spell list right now, or they don't have it prepared, which I'm like, fuck!
Well, I hope we don't meet with them again, because they'll learn from this one.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, sorry to interrupt. That was the one I was trying to think of, and I couldn't think of it. But Trash, we're on to you. What are you doing?
Okay, I can't cast Expeditious Retreat on anyone other than myself, so this, what does that do? Not quite. That is another self thing. That is, okay, not quite. I'm trying to just... think what I would do. Oh, okay. I think I got it. Okay. I'm gonna cast invisibility on Dazes.
Okay.
And it does say a creature you touch becomes invisible until the spell ends. Anything the target is wearing or carrying is invisible as long as it is on the target's person.
Let's go.
Which, does that mean all of us become invisible by virtue of being carried?
Oh, shit. I would have to say yes in this instance.
Let's go.
That, and I'm just going to rule a cool it. I think it sounds awesome, so go ahead and do it.
Okay. So, yeah. Basically, I am already touching Dazzy, so I'm just basically using my weird warped wrapped body to be like muttering the incantation to be like, and then I cast it.
Okay. Dazis, I would imagine as this is happening, Trash, you almost just envelop your companion as opposed to him carrying you, as the magic just you yourself cloak around your companion. Dazis, at first you're like, oh my, as you're just being swallowed by trash as their body morphs around you, and you watch as this happens, as it morphs around you and the coiled snake around your wrist. As it does so, you see the light around you begin to just refract and move and change as suddenly, just as all this slime begins to just move over your body, you see your form just disappear in front of your own eyes. As you look down your arm and you're like, ah! Like, both slightly in awe, but also concerned as to what is going on. You've never seen this before, but you can definitely feel your companion just wrapping around you like some sort of like skin-tight slime suit. It is one of the most concerning situation or feelings you've ever had, but you're in more of a hurry and you don't want to stop as you just let it happen. As you all disappear down the alleyway.
Yeah, I don't slow down though.
Okay. We will go ahead and with that as you have vanished, as you keep moving. The Guardian is well and truly out of the way. Before we do that, Floof, the same thing. You feel the same sensation of trash wrapping around you as you wrap around Dazes in this sort of very weird Arcana turducken.
A very weird Matryoshka doll situation.
Right. I wouldn't even know how to describe this to somebody as it wraps around you like this amorphic ooze just and tightens around your body. And the same thing, you see what you can clearly feel you're still wrapped around the forearm of Dazes, but you watch as yourself, as well as the branch-like limb that you're wrapped around, just vanish underneath this cloak of slime and ooze. As the light is just refracted in all directions and you disappear with your two companions.
Cool.
Is there anything you'd like to do in this moment before we pass things along to Dazes and exit initiative? Because it is technically your turn.
Nope. Let me see. I notice the distance is growing between us and them, and that's what makes me happy.
Okay. Dazes, you continue running as quickly as you can with your companions wrapped around you like this strange bodysuit. It is equal parts uncomfortable, but your natural initiative is just pushing you forward despite being uncomfortable in this situation. As you feel the only thing that you're worried about is just bumping into people who don't see you running as fast as you can through these alley streets. As you're turning and turning, go ahead and give me one acrobatics check to make sure you can avoid running into somebody. Yeah, with ease, you duck out of the way. A few times, a small child or like a family kind of turns the corner and you have to like just almost like run sideways, rolling off the wall. Trash, you feel it yourself kind of like skid against one of the stones, but you sort of, just slide and slime off the edge, leaving a stain on the wall that people kind of look and go, what in the world? Is there a leak behind the wall or something? Like what? They don't know what's going on as you just continue to run off without making contact with anyone down one of these alleys. You are just running as fast as you can, Dazes, for probably a good 10, 15 minutes before the fatigue begins to catch up with you. You feel your leg muscles tighten, your lungs are beginning to burn as you force yourself to stop off in this shaded, shadowy area where you see a number of crates and barrels and storage containers, most likely stacked up temporarily, as you are at very close proximity to the Drakkenspire now. Probably no more than like a quarter mile north of it at this point, to the main interior wall of the ancestral home of the rulers of Grossmauer. As you stop off, taking a breath, Floof, Trash, and Dazes, what are you doing in this moment?
I think at this point I would probably dismiss Wild Shape, at least.
Okay.
And ask, or what was that?
Are you asking
I'm
me or
asking
you?
them.
Oh,
I'm
you're asking them.
them.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I guess I recognize it, so I guess I'll be like, an unfortunate run with our previous Inquisitor friends. They recognized me, and
No, I mean, what was that weird invisible stuff going on? That felt funny.
Do I feel like we're, at least for now, like relatively safe?
Give me a perception check.
I mean, I feel like we could probably continue moving while having this conversation too.
Okay.
I mean, you can certainly keep moving. I mean, your invisibility lasts for an hour, but if Floof, you transform back, you definitely wouldn't be a possession of Dazes anymore. And I would say you would become visible again.
Okay. Well, oops.
But yeah, I guess I'm a disembodied voice if you step off. I don't really feel like releasing my invisibility. Well, actually, no. If I talk, then I'll probably release invisibility.
No, talking doesn't
if
do
you
it.
attack or
Oh, okay.
make some sort of It's if you attack.
Yeah,
or-
you attack
or
or
make some
cast
sort
a
of-
spell.
Exactly.
Right.
Well,
yeah,
maybe
I
I'd be
guess-
like, where'd you guys go? I wouldn't be
I
able to
only
see you.
rolled for perception. I only rolled an 11.
An 11. You feel pretty comfortable that you're at least away from the Inquisitors. You don't see anyone directly around you. I mean, you hear some voices in the distance, but they don't sound like they're shouting or searching or anything like that. You don't recognize the voices of either the Tabaxi or the Elvish man, or you definitely don't hear the sounds of the stomping Helion Guardian.
So I can't see them anymore, right?
No, you're definitely, you can hear them talking, but you don't see
Okay.
them.
All right.
Yeah, you don't see Dazes
probably-
or Trash Panda.
All right. I could probably at least. Does the visibility mask sense? Could I kind of get an idea where they are just by kind of smelling?
Give me a perception check with disadvantage, technically, in this instance. It's really hard to tell.
Okay.
Yeah, technically it's with disadvantage because you don't really have like a scent-based
Yeah,
modifier or anything like that. So,
well then I'll be like, where'd you guys go? You guys still there? Hello.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're on.
you hear
I'm just
Floof
making sure.
calling. You can see and hear Floof calling for you guys as if you're not standing right beside him.
Oh yeah, we're right here.
I'll feel around for them.
I'll reach my hand out, I guess we can.
You feel this slimy, ooze-covered hand grab your wrist, Floof.
Okay. Well, where to now?
Out as quickly as possible. You gotta find an exit gate, I would say.
Or is anything like that visible from where we are?
Give me one more perception check, if you would, Floof, since this is a different target, I guess. Yeah, you can tell that right now you're pretty much in the lower center of the city, on the lower half of the ridge surrounding the Drakkenspire. You know from your previous survival check and now looking around, you can tell that you would need to go probably a couple miles east towards, I'm sorry, west, no, east out of the city to head towards your desired destination of Gami's Mantle.
And are there more buildings and markets? Or is it like still?
There's more shop fronts in this area. There's not really like open markets like there are in other parts of the city, like the Middle Markt. But there's more of the shops like the one that you had sold the ring at, like more storefronts, like proper storefronts, like physical buildings, and then they're intermingled on one side with like larger townhomes and estate areas that are like fenced off by like masonry walls and things like that, through some of these back alleys that then expand into larger city streets in this part of the city.
Well, I'll say, I'll point east then and say that way. How long invisibility lasts? How long no see you? How last see you guys?
I've been concentrating on casting this spell, so I can't really say anything.
How long has it been since Trash used it? I would know that, right?
It's only been about, I would say, like 10 or 15 minutes. You probably have another 40 or 45 minutes of invisibility.
Okay.
Because it lasts an hour.
Yeah. I'll say maybe like 40, 45 minutes.
Do my instincts tell me that we could reach the end of the city in 45 minutes? If we beeline it?
Based on your perception check and your survival check, if you moved briskly without, but still tried to, you could definitely do it in probably, you'd be really pushing it to get there through some of these busier streets. But it's definitely doable.
Okay.
I mean, what if I sprint the whole way? I don't know how long I can sprint for, but
you could certainly do it. It would require a series of checks and acrobatics as well as athletics to try to sprint there. And if you come across any guards or anything like that, it would certainly require potentially some stealth checks as well.
That's fair.
As you may not be seen, but you can still be heard and, contacted with. You haven't become incorporeal. You're just invisible.
Yeah.
I clear path, and I'm going to start beelines running to the east towards the gate.
Floof. As you do that, you begin to turn and exit this back alleyway, this dead-end storage space for temporary storage for the Drakkenspire. Just as you step out onto the road, the three of you all hear a voice. Now, I'd love for you to get to your destination, but I must insist that we have a bit of an audience today. So, with that, might I suggest that you come down these stairs right over here? I need you all to make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell that is.
I feel like I'm about to be 3-card Monty.
Wisdom save. Oh, I rolled really terribly. I only rolled a 6.
Okay. Floof, you hear this voice and just the urge to turn and about face towards now you can see there's this open cellar door that has just apparated behind you all by about like 10 or 15 feet. This double wide cellar door. Trash and Dazes, without thinking, sounds like a good idea. You about face and begin to turn towards this cellar door, heading down these stone steps below the streets of Grossmauer. Floof, behind you, you watch your companions willingly begin to step down these steps.
I can't see them, right?
No, you cannot.
Yeah.
But you do see this door. And you heard the voice say, "Why don't you come and join me down here?" What do you do?
I'm just gonna be like, who is that? What's going on? Do you guys hear that?
They don't say anything. I would say with your distance to them, you can hear steps going down below on these cobblestone steps. But you don't see anything. But again, you hear, "Sir, with all due respect, I'm offering you an opportunity to come and join us in my beloved home. I really must insist."
Are you guys hearing this? Floof, Dazes?
Trash and Dazes, you just continue down the stairs into this very dimly lit. There are a handful of small oil lanterns on either side of you as you just instinctively walk down these stone steps. Probably 15, 20, 30 feet below the surface of the streets of the city of Grossmauer. Floof, you can... well, you don't see anything, but you just see... You see below the surface in this cellar door, you can definitely hear someone's walking down these stone steps. They're not trying to hide it. They're just walking casually down the steps. But you don't see anyone.
Oh, God. What is Floof gonna think? I'm gonna... If I could make some kind of check with smell or something to see if I could definitively know that they are going down this weird staircase that appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Disadvantage again, or no?
No, I would say in this instance, this isn't disadvantage. You're just looking for some type of scent. So it's not really like you're trying to find them specifically. You're just trying to find some scent of some kind that's recognizable. So I'll make this a standard roll.
All right, so I'm just gonna say this to stay in character. You could tell me if you want, what number would be a success. But if it's successful, I will follow down. If it's not, Floof's gonna assume that they started running towards the east gate, and I'm just beelining it out of there. So here goes nothing.
The DC you needed to meet was a 13.
All right.
You can barely smell the sweat of your companion Dazes. It is an odor having fought beside your companions now for several weeks. You know that scent, that inherent like salt brined scent of a water genasi that has spent a great deal of time on the open water surrounding the continent. And you're fairly certain that scent is going downwards into this cellar door.
Okay. I will cautiously follow.
Okay. Attaboy! I look forward to talking to y'all. And as you step down below, your head creeping down below the surface of the road several feet, you hear the cellar door slowly shut. Not slam, but just slowly shut as it vanishes overhead, and you're left looking up at rows of city street pavers, as if the road has just reestablished itself overhead and the door vanishes. Trash, remind me, invisibility is not concentration, correct? Or is it?
It is concentration.
It is. In this case, you, having succumbed to whatever arcana is currently directing you, would have broken that concentration.
Okay.
So, yeah. Sorry, didn't realize that, because they would have become become visible at this point. Because now, Floof, we'll just say at the bottom of the stairs, just as they follow downwards through this area, following the suggestion of "come and join me," you can hear them following down, and it's Dazes and Trash. This amenable suggestion, you come down the stairs, uncertain as your vision begins to focus again, as the tunnel vision that has directed you down this way sort of widens out again, as you find yourselves in this long, dimly lit sort of causeway below ground. This sort of worked stone cellar walls on either side of this long extending path. Not like well cleaned, but just not like a dirty mess at all either. And you can smell there's some like semblance of moisture down here as you walk further down, and you come to terms and you stop, wondering what possessed you to come down this way. As those words fade out of your mind, as you turn back and you see Floof coming down the stairs. And at this point, Floof, now you can see your companions once more as that concentration is broken. What are you all doing as you come to your senses?
So what are we like? What? Where are we? What?
Yeah, you vaguely remember. It's like you came out of a dream and you were sleepwalking, and then you vaguely remember the moments leading up to this, but you didn't have any control of the dream.
What about me? Would I have had that dream like thing?
No, you overcame whatever was attempting to possess your mind temporarily.
Well, I'll ask. Did you guys hear that weird voice in our heads?
Yeah, sort of. Where are we? And I'm looking around.
You're in a long hallway, or below ground, almost like the walls are stacked worked stone of and it's a bit chilly. Like the temperature has definitely dropped here below ground, and there's a bit of moisture in the air as you step down here. Not unlike the paths, if you recall your brief time below ground in Mirstadt, when you were traveling in the storm sewers below. It's not unlike that sensation as far as the overall moisture content of the air. You don't hear any running water, but you definitely feel like there's some sort of moisture in the air. And it's a bit chillier down here, being below ground. You're not certain how far below ground you are. Floof, you would say you're probably about 25 or 30 feet below the streets of the city.
I mean, I'll share. I think we're beneath city. Do you guys not remember the weird staircase we just walked down?
No. I'm pretty sure we have no recollection. Yeah. Stairs?
Yeah, would I have knowledge or be under the impression that we were just influenced by some like magical or unnatural means?
You definitely know that something brought you down here against your will. You're not certain what, but you definitely did something that you wouldn't have normally intended to do.
I'm just gonna say something unnatural convinced us to come here, and maybe it didn't work on you, Floof, but it worked on me and Dazes. And I do draw out my crossbow, and I'm like creeping because I don't feel safe. I don't trust this.
Again, you hear a voice echoing off the walls. Now! No need for violence, at least not in this point in time. Please, come along. I'd like to have a conversation with the three of you.
You guys hear this, right?
We will do you no harm as long as you keep it civil, right?
I put my hands over my ears.
I apologize, but I had to make sure you didn't take off a bit too early. I need to discuss some things with you. And this voice is just bouncing all over the walls in this sort of disorienting manner. It's not trying to pierce into your mind like before, but there's definitely you can't tell like where it's coming from. At one point it's like behind you, and then another time it's like right beside you on the left side, and then it's further down the hallway, and then the next time it's up overhead as you look up on the ceiling and see nothing. It's both disorienting and confusing, and you're not quite sure what's going on.
I'll yell back, can we leave?
I'm afraid at this moment in time that's not quite an option. But rest assured, you're not in any danger yet. So long as we can have a civil conversation, you see?
I'll yell, who are you?
You can call me the clergyman. Come along now, we've got a lot to discuss.
Which way did we come in?
Yeah, I do want to try my best to keep a sense of direction, I think.
There's really only two directions. There's further down the tunnel, there's back up the stairs, and you saw as you entered this area, Floof, the entrance disappeared and is now a worked stone ceiling.
Okay.
Does the clergyman ring any bells for me while Floof is trying to figure out entrance?
Nothing rings a bell to you on that one. You've never heard a name or a title the clergyman before.
And for me, I guess by the direction, I'm trying to keep a directional from like where the staircase, like did the staircase go north or south or northeast, like when we went down, just so I could maybe keep some kind of idea of sense of direction for where this tunnel is underneath the city. Like, does this tunnel look
based
like
on the way you were
tower?
facing, it was directly back into that alleyway. I would say it's likely facing probably southeast in a certain way. Is the best that you can surmise.
I mean, I'll tell Dazes, think this way, southeast.
You know, we can try as best as we can to keep track of where we are in the city, but
Yeah.
we don't really know very well what it looks like up top. Unfortunately, I don't think we have a choice for it at the moment.
What's it behind us? Is it like a dead end? Do we only have one way to go?
The behind you is the stairs, but once you drop below the surface of the road, the cellar door, the wooden cellar door entrance that you passed through, vanished over into a worked stone ceiling. You're certainly welcome to go back in and look, but right now the only two directions you can see are back up the stairs to that dead end or deeper into this sort of storm management tunnel of sorts.
Well, I guess. I'll say, I mean, I could try to dig us out of here, but maybe we go.
I don't know if you'd be able to dig through a stone ceiling / road.
Yeah, I could erupt Earth, but probably not. Probably too deep. I'll say.
Yeah, as well as the fact that we're at the moment trying to stay a bit more subtle.
Yeah. Well, let's go.
Be on your guard.
Yeah, I'll move cautiously as well.
Okay. You begin walking down through this long sort of maintenance tunnel. You're walking for probably a good 10, 15, 20 minutes. There are no doors. And it's such a long tunnel. You're uncertain if it even curves at all. You're uncertain if it goes up or down. It's a bit disorienting in its distance. It's so hard to tell that any movement in these walls would be so subtle. At this length, you couldn't really tell if it had changed directions. You just continue to follow it. The one thing you do notice as you walk down, at one point you do see a marker, a sort of symbol on one of the walls. It looks like a sort of a curved V-shaped mask. One side is like a pitch black color with this long Cheshire cat grin that goes up towards what would inevitably be an ear on a normal head. The other side of the face, almost split 50-50 down the middle, is completely like this chalk white color, and the curvature of the mouth on this side dips down almost in an opposite direction into a frowny face, the other direction, as if, you know, as if just the deepest of sour emotions has taken over this side of the face. It is a stark contrast from end to end, the symbol of this face.
Recognize it at all?
Yeah.
Give me a religion check.
Not me.
You would think the monk is religious.
You would.
Okay. Does anybody else want to roll?
I have... Mine's 19 total.
Okay. Floof, you don't recognize this. Dazes, you vaguely recognize this, and only because you've seen it in a handful of bars.
Well,
Trash, you do recognize this. And the two of you, as you look at each other, confirm it. This is the symbol of Alidamara, the god of trickery and entertainers. Often the patron saint, or the patron god of tricksters, thieves, assassins, and entertainers of all manner. Come along now! As you look onto this image like etched onto the wall, you can vaguely see the mouth beginning to move on one side. This darkened black half of the mask moves subtly. Come along now. We've got a lot to talk about. You're almost there.
yeah, I don't like this. Let's keep going.
You continue to walk past the etched marking of Alidamara. And at this point, you begin to hear the cascading fall of water kind of confirming what you thought previously, that this is some sort of connection to the city's underground storm sewers. As you hear like a cascading waterfall-like effect as it crashes down on either side of this area, and as you exit into this much larger atrium, you can see these large aqueducts on either side of you. As you step down these stairs into this much larger atrium, it is quite dark in this area as you step into this atrium. But as you get to the bottom of the stairs, you can feel your feet hit a wooden surface. And as you all step to the bottom of the stairs, that wooden surface, definitely solid. You're not, like, gonna, fall through anything, but there's some sort of sway to it as you step onto it. And as you all step onto this wooden platform, you hear this voice call out from all directions in that disorienting manner again. Welcome, travelers! Welcome, welcome, welcome to our humble little chapel under the city. And as he says this, you see all these oil lanterns suddenly all over, held by several dozen individuals all around you at various levels, at various platform areas, some sitting in chairs at tables, others, hanging over railings, sitting on stone steps, some on archways of the aqueducts. You see all around you. This is almost looks like some sort of makeshift bar, tavern, storeroom, meeting hall, all manner of things built into the large arched aqueducts on either side of this storm collector basin. And you can see the falling, cascading water that you heard coming into this atrium, falling on either side, in between. You can hear chuckling from various individuals in hoods and masks watching you from all around. Some not really paying as much attention. Others very much watching you closely. Smiles all around, drinks in hand. And then you hear the voice, far more focused this time. But not the same jovial voice that you heard before. This time you hear another voice that, Trash, you recognize. A feminine voice. A soft voice, as a much larger series of torchlights appears overhead. And across from you, you realize now you all are standing on some sort of suspended wooden platform that's been built over a vastly deep pit below you. And this platform is hanging from a series of chains, and that was that undulation you felt as you stepped onto it. As you see these chains kind of holding onto the platform on all directions. And then directly in front of you, raised up on some stonework, and in between, you see this large, much more robust platform and a very almost mocking-looking makeshift throne. With sitting upon it, a familiar face, specifically to you, Trash. The face of Catherine Ainlead, looking directly at you. It's been some time, Trash. How have you been?
So casual.
Like, yeah, I don't think I'm, like, speechless.
Is this form a bit more amenable to you? Or perhaps you'd prefer a bit more elderly voice? And you, as that voice changes with Catherine's face, you watch as her hand passes over her face, and in one singular motion, the form slips away. The form shortens into the purplish-robed, elderly-looking figure of the Master Arcanist, Darius Oberson. Perhaps this one's a bit more to your style?
Okay, seeing the initially kind of not having a response because I was just, my jaw was agape because I thought it was Catherine, and then seeing how it's not Catherine, and then piecing together what I saw earlier, that we are in the presence of like worshippers of the trickster gods, or trickster domain. I'm tired. I'm confused. And I know this is not your strong suit, but I don't want any... I don't want any act. I don't want any mimicry. Who are you? How did you find us, and what do you want?
They look you over as you say that. Sorry, I didn't mean to confuse you or irritate you in any way. Just having a bit of fun, if you don't mind. He's still in the form, this individual still in the form of Master Oberson, but the voice has now changed candor and inflection and style completely, back to this strange voice that was leading you on this whole way through for the past half hour or so. You can call me the clergyman. I'm a solicitor of services in this part of the continent, of various means and methods, and well, it just depends on how much our clients are willing to pay. Some may call us thieves, deviants, murderers. They're all pretty much true to some degree. But you might better know us as the Hand of Faith. And you hear all these individuals start to just chuckle.
I recognize that name, but I can't quite remember.
You remember it briefly being said when you first encountered the little boy that had transformed around you and attacked you after arriving in Tafar, claiming you had stolen a bounty, a target from them.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the last time we had a run-in with supposed Hand of Faith, it wasn't pleasant.
I imagine it wasn't. Some of our boys can be a little, repentive? What's the word I'm looking for? Vindictive? Yeah, that's the one. I believe you're looking for that one right up there. And he points up to a kind of disgruntled and like jittery looking rattling that's sitting over one of the tables, and immediately after being pointed out to you all and the people around, you hear chuckles and like serious laughter from one side of the room. Oh, don't mind him. He was just mad you might have stolen something that was his. I look at it this way. If he was better at his job, you wouldn't have stole it from him. And you hear chuckles and laughter all around. I don't take it to heart. To me, it just proves that you're better at things than we are. That I do have a bit of a problem with. But sometimes difficult problems require unique solutions. So that's why I've offered you to come down here and chat for a bit. Also, I'm just innately curious. And you watch as he changes forms again as his hand passes over. His form grows a bit. You see the stout, rotund figure of Darius Oberson give way to a much more lean and agile-looking scaled form as the bronze dragonborn Gamil stands in front of you all. I believe we've met a number of your various associates, companions, friends. I like to know about anyone who comes through our little chapel here ahead of time. So pardon my poking fun at you a bit. It's just a bit of my thing. But enough joking around. Why don't we discuss why I brought you here?
Can we maybe discuss it not on the rickety wooden platform?
We'll discuss that in a minute here.
I want to look around and see if I recognize any faces, like among the crowd.
Give me a perception check. Other than the rattling individual that he pointed out, you really don't recognize any faces here. A lot of them are covered, either by hoods or masks, and those that aren't covered, you just flat out don't recognize.
Okay. And I don't know if you want me to check here or not, but just from my notes, what was Billet in this organization? I just had two notes right by each other. Did he tell us he was part of this or not?
No, what you remember is he stated that he didn't really have anything good to say about the Hand of Faith.
Okay.
In fact, he attacked this rattling and his group. If you recall, he was the one who intervened when you all first met during that little encounter when this rattling individual actually stabbed you.
Oh, yeah.
As you briefly recall, as you feel the scar on the side of or in one of your shoulders.
Oh, Floof doesn't like these guys.
Neither does Dazes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know we can have a bit of a less than savory reputation, our little group here, but if anything can be said about the Hand of Faith is that we're fair. The strong and the able are those who succeed in this world. The capable are the ones who succeed in this world. And the prepared are the ones who succeed in this world. So I find myself often trying to be the most prepared in the room. So, needless to say, I did a little bit of research on the three of yous. Especially after you so capably saw to one of my boys up there. We've since had a bit of a talking, myself and him, and he's paying off my forgiveness, if you don't mind the term. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be seeing him. That being said, we have goals here in the Hand of Faith, myself included. As I'm sure the three of you have quite determined goals. Am I right?
Perhaps.
I nod slowly.
I know a little bit about where you've been, what you've been doing. Crash. Former pupil, disciple of Lady Catherine, now fugitive Lady Catherine of the Magisterium Arcanum. Not much known about your origins, but nevertheless, you've made quite a bit of a reputation for yourself about being a capable spell weaver of sorts and magical engineer. I respect it. Then we've got you, Dazes, former smuggler, former pirate, to a certain extent. No offense taken. I respect all comers here. As well as fine sailor. But, bit of a, I've heard you've got a bit of a lady problem as of late. And some run-ins with, strange individuals of dubious, the three of you together, dubious, what's the word I'm looking for? Origins as well. Strange squid creatures, strange floating brains from what I've heard, strange things floating in the sky, strange warlocks killing people, stealing magical stones from city buildings, all the sorts of things. And you, the one called Floof, you're the strangest of the three of them. I've not quite figured out where your origins lie, my friend. I've not heard of any shape changer like you before. And it takes one to know one. I would love to sit down and pick your brain, let me tell you. The three of you individually probably wouldn't get very far, but the three of you together, now, that's a capable trio right there. Capable enough to dispatch our boys with ease. And that was impressive. That's why I'd like to offer you a deal. Would you like to hear my little offering?
You talk too much. What you want?
You're not the first to say that. Maybe I just like to hear the sound of my own voice. What can I say?
I assume declining is not an option.
It's certainly an option. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's certainly an option. And he kicks one of the chain pinions that's holding the platform, and you feel it kind of tilt forward slightly. As I said, I wouldn't recommend it.
I was just asking a question.
And I gave an answer.
What's the deal?
What do you all know of our Lord Baron Philippe Dracone, ruler of this here city?
He killed my mother. Her father. Wait, hold on. I'll just say I know that name.
Interesting. What do you know of his illustrious history?
Can I like roll history to see if I know anything about his illustrious history?
Yeah, do we actually know anything about?
What you know is he is the leader of the city of Grossmauer, that he is the general of the largest standing army in the Landscale Alliance, and that his family has ruled over this city for going on, this would be 9 generations. He is the 9th generation ruler of the city of Grossmauer. That is the general understanding of what all of you would know. Well, at least Dazes and Trash from your travels and your studies. If there's anything else you would like to surmise, you can certainly make a history check.
Yeah, we know about as much as everybody else.
That's the general understanding that the population knows.
Yeah. Just for shits and gigs, I'll roll a history check.
Okay.
If I can pull anything else out of my butt.
Not too much beyond that. Just the general understanding of the city. You know he's a well-known general, but that's pretty much common knowledge, being the ruler of this city, and this is the basis of the Landsgeld Alliance's standing army, being one of the largest armies outside of the Imperial Guard in the peninsula in the furthest corner of the continent, and the capital city of Magnolia, the holy city of Magnolia.
Sure.
Well, I'll go ahead and cut to the chase. Most people don't know diddly squat about him. And he tries to keep it that way. What would I have to tell you to make you believe that he's definitely not who he seems? Capable fighter? General? Yes. Completely true. 100% of the time. Honorable ruler? Now there's where we have a bit of a disagreement. That man's got a sketchy past, and that's coming from somebody who definitely knows him as he sees him.
It is becoming, seems easier each day to believe things of that note, of that caliber, or other case.
Good to see you've seen a bit of the world there, Mr. Dazes. Coming from your background, I'm sure you've seen quite a few ruffians, turncoats, thieves, smugglers. I respect them all. I employ a lot of them. We work for the highest bidder often. But what keeps us all together is our pursuance of our goals, our ideas. For some, that's as simple as chasing the next bottle, chasing a bit of booty, and chasing obviously a fat stack of gold. But those are petty things. Superficial. They'll be gone in the blink of an eye. No. What I seek to find and acquire is power. Power to rule this very city. Which some would argue we do to a certain extent. But on a less formal means. Everything that's under the radar in this city had to pass through our capable fingertips. Every other guild member, every other little band of ruffians, thieves. Small potatoes. In some way, shape, or form, they've probably worked for us at some point. Whether that's directly, indirectly, forcibly, coercively, you get the picture. But I have a bit of a problem with this here, Lord Baron. He seems decent enough on the surface. Well, that's where it begins to fall apart below the surface. He would lead you to believe he is the 9th son of the original Baron Dracon.
Is he not?
Now there's the million platinum question. What if I told you he's been around a lot longer than that? He was the beginning and the end of his line. The one and only Lord Baron Dracon.
He's immortal?
Not necessarily. Not in the literal sense. Not on a divine level, anyway. But he's definitely staved off death for far too long. He's what many would call a bit of the undead.
Undead.
He made quite a deal. Not sure why. Don't much care. But he's been around for quite some time. Utilizing some powerful pact magic to keep himself in this world. Staving off the very death itself, if you will. I'm sure Gami's really chomping at the bit to make sure this one goes the way of the dodo, if you know what I mean.
I chuckle a little bit when he says way of the dodo, actually.
Pardon?
I chuckle a little bit when he says way of the dodo. That's kind of fun.
I don't know the expression.
He doesn't like that he's still alive. He staved off death when he should a long time ago been, 6 feet under. Sent down the river. That sort of thing. Somehow, some way, he's managed to prolong his life and sees quite a large stack of wealth, a considerable power over this city, and managed to do so under the radar for hundreds of years. I don't really much care for that. At least not for a man that isn't under my purview, if you know what I mean. At this point, he looks to you, Floof. You're a bit of an oddball. You wield some very strange and ancient magics. Ones that haven't been seen in this world in quite some time. Most of us pay homage to some sort of patron, a deity, or they muster the various types of arcana spread across this world by the Lady Mistra. By the way, they usually fall under one of those categories, including our Lord Dracon, to whom he owes patronage is the question. Followed swiftly by, how do we break that pact and therefore break him? What's
I'm
the...
not an oddball.
What I do know about you, Mr. Floof, in my network of researchers, there were rumors ages and ages ago of a tribe of people, much like yourself, who harness the power of the world itself, who could transform into beasts and animals of sorts. He watches his face transforms over, and he's now taken the form of this beautiful-looking bar maiden that you all don't recognize. That being said, that tribe of people died out, or was supposedly died out, hundreds of years ago. But I've managed to dredge up a few rumors. Rumors that that line of people somehow lived. And that they carried with them a secret. A tremendous power tied to the ancient civilizations of elves that disappeared during the Cataclysm. And that the reason that ancient line disappeared was because of Lord Dracon himself. That he himself, not his fathers, not his supposed sons, no, Lord Dracon, the very fleshy in blood, the one we now call Baron of this very city, the one and the same, is the reason your, Mr. Floof, supposed line is no longer around. That your people held a true key to immortality and power. But when they refused to share it, Lord Dracon ordered them put to death. By making a deal with some greater power. So, I'd like you to help me help you. I'm sure hearing this makes you none too happy, am I right?
I don't know what you mean. My line is in the forest, and my mother, a bear that raised me.
That's cute and all, but I'm sorry, your mother wasn't a bear. At least not your birth mother.
She was my mother.
Adopted families and such, I get it.
I mean, I'm gonna yell "shut up" to him in anger because I don't like to hear these things. Even though I think Floof, through the vision and through, learning more about how the world works, coming out of the forest and stuff, that I do have a sense that, the way I've been raised and stuff probably isn't, true and natural.
As I said, adopted families and such. I don't judge.
I will think.
But what I'm telling you is the truth. And if you don't believe me, you hear him snap his fingers, and you feel that same sort of divine energy emanate outward from him. The same sort of divine energy that you felt, Dazes, when one of the Inquisitors cast it not but a few hours prior. I need you all to make a wisdom saving throw.
That nodded my head.
Oh, I'm sorry, charisma saving throw.
Oh, charisma.
Yeah, sorry, charisma save. My apologies.
Nope, that's not going to go well.
I rolled a dirty 20.
On charisma?
Yeah.
I got a 7.
So Floof, in your case, we'll take that roll, but it would be your other modifier. So it would be your charisma save would be, I think in this case, negative.
I rolled. Did they both? I rolled wisdom on accident, and I did. Roll
You did roll charisma. I do
-1,
see
yeah.
it. Apologies.
Okay.
Trash. You feel this compellence to try to keep you speaking the straight and narrow, the truth. You just barely manage to overcome it as it tries to overwhelm your person. Dazes and Floof, you cannot speak lies in the presence of this zone of truth. Now, I can tell you didn't completely succumb to my divine presence here, Miss Trash, but I would ask that you try to be as truthful as possible. As will I. Lord Dracon is some sort of unnatural undead, as we know. Mr. Floof, as I stated before, he very much has, and once he finds out about you, will continue to put an end to whatever lineage you carry. The moment he realizes who and what you are, you will have a target on your back the size of Arendelle. Well, I'd like to... Go ahead.
I can only speak truth, you said, right?
You can only speak the truth. You can choose not to answer, but anything that you say must be the truth.
Okay. I mean, I'll say I saw a vision before.
Please, share with the class. I'd love to hear more. I'm a man of information.
What did my old people look like?
From what I know, quite a lot like you. Big, gray, strong, and very much attuned to whatever natural energies are sprouting in and up and out of this here world.
Trying to get to my notes here. I'll say I saw a woman in vision when I was a baby, black hair and a stone face, if that's right.
I would imagine that's probably your birth mother. Right now, I don't have any details about who they were. But rest assured, if we work together, I can try my best to find out who they are and where you come from.
I'm just gonna straight up start crying, maybe a little bit, like, just because I don't want to let go of what I have with my mother. I recognize that regardless of what my real origins are, I still love my mother very much, but I'm saddened to hear and acknowledge that my past has more to.
And you, Mr. Dazes.
Me.
Yes, you. Your, what do we want to call her? Jilted lover? Ex-girlfriend? Angry, destructive force of nature? All roughly the same.
A blend of those terms.
Probably. They seem to be chasing after whatever it is popped up in the sky over the city of Callista not but a few weeks ago. Many people saw whatever that was. I'd also like to know what that was. And what those strange things were doing chasing after it.
Well, I think I can say honestly that I don't quite know what their goals are with that creature. But I'll describe the creature as best as I can. It's, I don't even know what to call it, but I'll describe it as best as I can.
Let me guess. Gaunt? Gray? Squid-like? Am I hitting all the bells?
The bells are ringing.
Wonderful. If the ancient texts are what they say they are, that was some sort of extraterrestrial being of ancient times. Predating the ancient elves, for that matter.
An ancient alien?
I believe that's what extraterrestrial means. Predating the elves, the dwarves, and the dragonborn all together.
What the hell's it doing here?
That's what I'd like to know. Now, whatever it was doing had something to do with whatever that big floating rock up in the air was. And your angry past lover seems to be tied to this whole situation. In exchange for your help with this barren situation, I will assist you in finding out where she is, what she's trying to be doing, and what in the hell was that big floating rock.
That would certainly be useful information.
That it would. For both of us. And finally, you, Miss Thrash. You are looking for a particular someone, am I right? As he changes form again to Lady Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
What have I said? I know exactly where she is.
I'm sure this information comes at a cost.
Bingo! You're a smart one, just like they said. I will happily exchange that information. If you agree to help us out with this Baron situation.
I'll bow my head and say, I'll help.
I like the attitude. What about the two of you?
Well, again, as I look down, I see not really much in terms of options here, I don't believe. So, yeah, I suppose my hands are forced here. I'll aid you.
2 for 3. Finally, you, Miss Trash. What's your answer? Are we working together?
Well, I'll do what my companions want to do.
Very well. It looks like we have the makings of a deal, boys! And you hear him smack his hands together and, as if all at once you hear instruments beginning to play as everyone just cheers, and you see a round of drinks come sailing up in everyone's hands.
Ours too?
We'll get to that in just a moment. First, business, then a bit of fun.
I sigh.
I wouldn't have been able to tell whether he was under the influence of the Cone of Truth, would I?
He was standing within his own zone of truth.
Okay.
You watch him snap his fingers as you feel that compellence to say the truth and only the truth begins to fade. And you watch as he jumps down, and as he does so, you watch as his hand passes over, and as his boots hit the floor, a new form stands before you all. A form the likes of which you've never seen before. A humanoid form which you've never seen before. A silvery pale white skin, silvery pale white eyes, bleach white hair, and this sort of velvet overcoat, white pants, and a matching red tie sits down around his neck of this white linen shirt. Well then, welcome. It's been a pleasure doing business with you. Now, to fully engage this here deal, we need to make a bit of a pact. And in order to do so, I must formally introduce myself. My name is Oban Sal. I am the leader of the Hand of Faith.
Pleasure to meet you, I say sarcastically.
He reaches out and extends his hand. I don't bite, I promise. Do I need to put up the zone of truth again, really?
I'll shake his hand.
He shakes your hand, and nothing happens. Now then. To formalize this pact, we need to make sure there are deals to this contract of ours. To make sure both parties are in line. While I write up the terms of this here agreement, I'd like to invite someone to join us for a moment who will function as a bit of your, what should we call it, an escort. Someone you're familiar with, by the way, I believe. Come along, little man. Come on down. As you hear familiar metallic footsteps coming down one of the stairs off to your right. It's hard to tell on their otherwise very stoic, emotionless face, but their posture says more as they seem to be stepping down these stairs in a sort of defeated manner. Not wearing their usual large pack on their back, but still very, very identifiable. Your brief companion, Billet, comes stepping down the stone steps onto the wooden platform beside you. It's a pleasure to see y'all again.
Is it?
Look, I promise you there's a reason.
I'm mostly just broken down on my knees, just like kind of in my hand on my head, just trying to process everything that's told me that I pretty much don't even notice Billet come.
Well, it'll take me a few minutes to write up these documents. Until that time, by all means, have you still a bit of libations. Boys! Chop, chop! As you watch on one side, some oil lanterns begin to light up, and you see a much larger bar begin to move over. And as soon as that lights up, you see everyone just kind of rush that direction to a number of casks and taps behind the bar, as people are already beginning to get drinks for the evening. Give me just a few moments, will you? Why don't you all get reacquainted, and I'll see you in just a bit. As Oban turns around, walking back to discuss something with one of the other hooded individuals at the other end of this makeshift bar, tavern, guild hall, if you will. As you all stand on this suspended wooden platform, equal parts confused, a bit of excitement, and a heavy spoonful of suspicion of this whole matter, but also a heavy dose of confusion as your former companion Billet stands beside you once again. And that's where we'll call it for this evening.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, me too. That was good.